All right, moving on to the IPL. I said we'd wrap it up. The final was a damp squib, but the best team won. Kolkata Knight Riders were absolutely dominant, winning 9 of their 14 games, with 2 washouts and only 3 defeats in the league stage. And they thrashed the Sunrisers Hyderabad 2 games in a row, first to get to the final and then in the final. So congratulations to them. I'm really interested in Mitchell Starc. The fact is, it's his first IPL for 9 years. Kolkata Knight Riders spent over $2 million on him. He hasn't played T20 in those 9 years, other than internationals.
Mm.
And he started like a house on fire, as in burning to the ground.
Yeah.
He was dreadful. His first 8 overs cost 100, didn't take a wicket, wasn't much better in the beginning of the tournament. But as they always say in sport, Harmy, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And man of the match in the final, 2 for 14, including the ball of the tournament, I reckon. So, but the truth is, the overriding emotion, I think, from most players, and they've struggled to disguise it, was relief that it was finally over.
Yeah, it seems that way. It's too long. It is too long. They can go a long way by, I think they've proven it by shortening it. And I think if they did that, I'd be big enough to say if we short this by 3 weeks, we have no, like Just Butler, we have no international cricket around it. The elite are playing. I'm sure the players, I'm sure the international players especially, 10 weeks, 11 weeks, 12 weeks, it's relentless. I mean, pressure in that sort of goldfish bowl. And you're right, Mitchell Starc, he hasn't played a lot of T20 cricket, but tell you what, if you've got a final and a big game, white ball, I'm not sure how too many people had one other than Jasper Bumrah, Kagisa Rabada, Goffer Archer, Mitchell Starc to bowl in that power play for me. And, that $2 million was repaired in that power play in the final. It really was. And it just shows champions. Yes, I'm not saying he struggled in the early part because you don't get up for it. You do. Things just didn't happen for him. But in a one-off game, final, you put everything on the line and you say, right, who's got the biggest set? More often than not, the best players come out. And that's what Mitchell Starc did. It was an absolute beauty. That first they have to get the left-hander. And again, he showed his quality. He's not got the numbers he's got and played in the big games and been given the first over in all these big tournaments and Ashes and everything like that and delivered. Because he's bowled 8 overs. People are whinging because he bowled 8 overs for over 100, no wickets. You get to the final, big player stands up, and fair play to him. Well done, Mitchell Starc. I've got another one to pay thought to that didn't play in the final, but had a magnificent tournament. And he's playing for England, and he got hauled back and playing for England, and that's Phil Salt, because Phil Salt for KKR was probably one of the big reasons they got to the final. So, I'm sure he enjoyed a beer down wherever he was when that final was. It'd be a nice beer because he'd been in Cardiff when it was done. So, fair play to Phil Salt, who's an IPL winner. Good on him.
And the reason that KKR won, I think, is that they had 3 of the top 5 wicket takers, and wickets win T20s. It's just a fact. Batsmen get headlines and kudos, and bowlers win games. So Sunil Narine, 488 runs at a strike rate of almost 190 and 17 wickets at the most economical runs per over in the entire tournament. So absolutely outstanding. Just literally, you might not even want to comment on this before we move on to the final word. But the USA beat Bangladesh in a T20 series in the USA, and lots of people went, wow, how did that happen? I'll tell you why. USA players, Harmy, have been playing between 70 and 80 T20 games a year for the last 3 years. First in minor league cricket, then in major league cricket. People may not understand. There are little satellite tournaments that pop up here and there. They'll go for a long weekend to Dallas and play like a intense tournament with, 4 games a day, that kind of thing. But that's a lot of T20 cricket. And it might not all be of the highest quality. In fact, some of it might be quite poor. But if you learn something from each of those games, that's more T20 cricket than any other team, any other country's players, by a factor of probably 3. So let's not be too surprised if, they do, as Mel Farrell said, turn one of the big teams over.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you find is you have all them sort of games and all them satellite tournaments around, but it's only 11 players. So 11 players will have quality. They might be diluted and they're facing some absolute rubbish, but there's still 11 players that are having practice, seeing the ball, hitting the ball, range hitting in the middle of a game. These guys are talented. Yeah. They'll be talented. And Bangladesh might have gone there just looking for a hit in the practice, and before they realised how good America was, the series was gone and tail between their legs. So I think it was a little bit of an eye opener, but I don't think it was a massive surprise to people. I had a few text conversations with Liam Plunkett last week, and Liam was saying, Corey Anderson, because we're trying to get a hold of Corey Anderson. He was saying, just watch out. These boys are talented. And if they get their day, it could cause a surprise.
Yeah, there's several South African players, lots of South African players in the American League. But there was one guy who was described when he was still in South Africa as the new Lance Klusener. His name is Andries Gous, and he has made a massive impact. You really want to look out for.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.